Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 9. My name is Xavier Robert, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu approves appointment of 18 aides in Vice President's office. Federal government opens old international terminal to ease flight disruptions. Plus, 5 Americans freed in Iran-US prisoner swap deal brokered by Qatar. Details of these stories and more in a moment. First in the news tonight is a report that President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of 18 special advisors and senior special assistants to actualize the agenda of the federal government across the different sectors of the economy. This was made known by the Director of Information Office of the Vice President Olushola Abiola in a statement today. According to him, the team comprising 6 special advisors and 12 senior special assistants will work in the office of the Vice President, supporting the renewed hope agenda of the Tinubu administration. The appointments in the Vice President's office include Rukaya El Rufai, Special Advisor, SAD, to the President on NEC and Climate Change; Tokpe Kolade Fashua, as Special Advisor, SAD, to the President on Economic Matters; Aliyu Modibo Umar, Special Advisor, General Duties; Hakeem Baba Ahmed, Special Advisor on Political Matters; and Jumokeo Douala, Special Advisor to the President on Payback and Investment. Others include Sadiq Wanka, Special Advisor to the President on Power Infrastructure; Osman Mohammed, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Administration and Office Coordination; Kingsley Stanley Nkwacha, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications; Ishaq Ahmed Ningi, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Digital Media and Emergency Management; Pejua Debajo, Senior Special Assistant to the President, Investment and Privatization; Mohammed Bulama, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Political and Special Duties; Kingsley Uzoma, Senior Special Assistant to the President, Agribusiness and Productivity Enhancement; Gimba Kakanda, Senior Special Assistant to the President, Research and Analytics; and Temitola Adekunle Johnson, Senior Special Assistant to the President, Job Creation and MSMEs. Completing the list of appointments in the Vice President's office are Nasser Yamama, SSA to the President, Innovation; Zainab Yunusa, SSA to the President on NEC; Mariam Temitope, SSA to the President, Regional Development Programs; and Bashir Maidugu, Deputy State House Counsel, Senior Special Assistant to the President. Meanwhile, President Tinubu is expected to speak at the 78th United Nations General Assembly scheduled for September 18 through 26 this year. This year's General Assembly will be held under the presidency of His Excellency Denis Francis of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. During the General Assembly, heads of state will take turns to deliver their addresses. And Tinubu at the Assembly would highlight Nigeria's efforts towards the attainment of the SDGs, tackling climate change and ensuring international peace and security, among others. The President is expected to deliver his inaugural national statement on the floor of the UN headquarters on September 19. Meanwhile, Tinubu's attendance at the UNGA marks his first since assuming the presidency in May. In the meantime, the presidency has said that President Tinubu has appointed Hakeem Okunola as his principal secretary. Okunola until now was head of civil service of Lagos State, with a statement from the presidency saying he will be bringing his wealth of experience to bear in discharging his duties. He was also an astute administrator and former personal assistant to President Bola Tinubu when he was governor of Lagos State. His appointment comes with immediate effect. Elsewhere, the president has also nominated Dr. Jamila Ibrahim to serve as the Minister of Youth, pending her confirmation by the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He also nominated Ayodele Olawande to serve as the Minister of State for Youth, pending his confirmation as well by the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Ajurin Galali, disclosed this in a statement titled President Tinubu nominated new ministers for Federal Ministry of Youth. This comes weeks after Tinubu redeployed 60-year-old Abubakar Momo, whom he earlier nominated as Youth Minister to the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs. In a separate development, former President Olusegun Obasanjo has denied Taiwo Martins, who apologized on his behalf for commanding some monarchs in Oyo State, to stand for Governor Seyi Makinde. Obasanjo had, while issuing the command to the monarchs at a public event, noted that a governor is more powerful than any king. Following the development, Taiwo Martins, who claimed to be Obasanjo's wife, issued an apology on behalf of the former president. However, reacting to the apology, Obasanjo disowned the woman and insisted that he stands by his comments. In a statement by his media aide, Kehinde Akinyemi, today, Obasanjo expressed annoyance that one Taiwo Martins has authored a statement appealing to Obas and Yorubas to forgive him as her husband, while conceding that he and the woman gave birth to 2 children. Obasanjo stressed that she is not his wife, neither is she a member of his family. In another development, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, George Akume, has solicited the support and understanding of all and sundry to get the nation's economy out of the doldrums. Akume, represented by Senior Special Advisor to the SGF, Dr. Dagbo Oyedemi, made the call at the Nigerian Institute of Management Chartered NIM 2023 Annual National Management Conference today in Lagos. Reports say the event had as its theme managing Nigeria's path to sustainable economic growth and prosperity, the challenges before the new national leadership. The SGF noted that the theme was apt and relevant towards charting a new course and national rebirth for the country in line with the 8-point agenda of the federal government. He recalled that President Bola Tinubu unveiled an 8-point agenda to turn around the economy and make life comfortable for all Nigerians, including food security, ending poverty, economic growth and job creation, access to capital, improving security, improving the playing field on which people and particularly companies operate, rule of law and fighting corruption. Akume said concerted efforts were being made by the federal government in all critical sectors to get away from that. In a bid to alleviate flight disruptions and improve the overall efficiency of air travel, the federal government has officially reopened the D wing of the old international terminal at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. The move comes as part of a broader effort to address the growing challenges faced by travelers and airlines operating in Nigeria. Following the sudden relocation of foreign airlines from the international terminal of the Lagos Airport to an adjoining new terminal which was opened last March. The reopening of the old international terminal, which had been temporarily closed for renovation, was announced by the Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo, earlier today. In a statement signed by the Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, FAN, Abdullahi Yakubu Funtua, Keyamo emphasized the government's commitment to enhancing the aviation sector and ensuring that passengers have a seamless travel experience. Meanwhile, the Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamman, today said he has identified industry-linked research in the country's institutions of higher learning as key to national development. The minister said this in his office in Abuja while receiving briefings from chief executives of parastatals and agencies under the supervision of the Federal Ministry of Education. Mamman also promised to do everything humanly possible to ensure that industry-based research is encouraged to accelerate national development. On his part, Minister of State for Education Dr. Yusuf Sanunu expressed the government's determination to supporting the Tertiary Education Trust Fund in its efforts at promoting industry-based research, adding that the administration of President Bola Tinubu will do everything humanly possible to clear any obstacle on the way of research funding. In the meantime, the federal government has made moves to block the redemption of about 62 promissory notes issued to consultants and contractors engaged by the Nigeria Governors Forum (NGF) and the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria (ALGON) to retrieve their shares of the Paris Club refunds. The federal government, while faulting the procedure for the issuance of the promissory notes, has prayed the Federal High Court in Abuja to void the notes already issued. In the suit before Justice Inyako, the federal government and 3 others listed as plaintiffs want the court to, among others, set aside all the promissory notes and issue an order of perpetual injunction restraining the defendants and their agents from exercising any proprietary rights over the promissory notes. The plaintiffs are contending, among others, that the promissory notes are valid, having been wrongly issued in violation of relevant laws. Elsewhere, the newly inaugurated Operation Sweep in the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) has arrested 400 persons and impounded 50 vehicles for various offences. The Commander-Chief Superintendent of Police, Omar Kadiri, made this known while briefing reporters in Abuja today during an operation to dislodge illegal traders selling items on the street. The operation also dislodged illegal motor parks, removed illegal structures on the streets, demolished scavengers' shanties and set them ablaze. Reports say the operation took place at Utako Ultra Meridian Market and down through A.E. Ekukinem Street to Jabi Motor Park and environs, among other locations, to keep Abuja city clean. To the legislature now, where the National Assembly has hinted on plans to expedite the screening of nominees for the positions of the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria as well as the deputies. The Parliament said this would be done along with a list of 2 ministerial nominees of President Bola Tinubu. The Senate spokesperson and chairman, Senate Committee on Media and Publicity, Yemi Adaramodu, told newsmen that the Red Chamber was ready to act swiftly on the screening of the nominees. To the judiciary now, where the National Industrial Court sitting in Port Harcourt has ordered Guinness Nigeria PLC and 3 others to pay an aggrieved former employee of the company, Bright Unwosu, the sum of 52.4 million naira over wrongful termination of employment. Bright Unwosu, who was employed by Guinness Nigeria PLC in 2004 as a sales executive, filed a suit against the firm as a defendant on September 18, 2019, after he was wrongfully disengaged. Delivering judgment in the suit, the court presided over by Justice Nelson Ogwanya held that Guinness Nigeria PLC erred when it terminated the employment of Nwosu without justification, adding that evidence before the court proved that the sacked employee was diligent in his duties before the termination of his employment. The court, however, declared as unacceptable the stipulation of Guinness Employees Handbook that employees can be sacked without expressly stating the reason behind the sack. On security matters, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Agwetokun, has ordered swift operations to be carried out to curb the unwarranted killings caused by cult clash in Sagamu, Ogun State. This was disclosed by the Force Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi in a test statement today on X, formerly known as Twitter. The Force spokesman said the Ogun State Police Commissioner Abiodun Olamutu was in Sagamu for an on-the-spot assessment and confidence-building patrol. He said that the force will support the Ogun Command with resources where necessary, adding that the command will speak on the incident as soon as possible. Away from that now, considering his contribution to the advertising industry over the years, the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has appointed an expert in advertising, Prince Fatiu Akiolu, as the new General Manager, Lagos State Signage and Advertisement Agency, LASA. Before his appointment, Akiolu was the founder of an outdoor media firm, Regno Media, based in Lagos, and had embarked on many works that displayed the LASA vast understanding of the industry. The governor appointed Akiolu as part of efforts to restructure LASA and ensure the agency performs effectively for the development of the agency in the state. He would be replacing another prince, Dedamola Dosimo, who oversaw the agency since 2019 and was removed barely 3 months after the governor won his second term in office. In another development, the crisis of confidence between the Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki and his deputy Philip Shaibu took a new twist today, following the decision of the governor to lock out his estranged deputy from the government house. Shaibu got the shock of the moment when he got in his office today and found that the gate to the office of the deputy governor and the main entrance leading to the story building was locked with chains and heavy padlocks. While he and his aides waited for about an hour before leaving, Shaibu during the period reportedly made frantic efforts to reach the governor, but to no avail. An aide to the deputy governor, who made the pictures available to the public under anonymity, disclosed that his principal had some discussions with the commissioner of police and the director of state services, alerting them of how he was locked out from his office. According to him, there was no official communication to the effect that the deputy governor's office had been locked. Shaibu was consequently said to have summoned the camp commandant at the government house, SP Ibrahim Babatunde, querying why he was locked out of his office. To Cross River State now, where the government has revealed that foreign investors will pump in 1.2 billion euros to manage urban wastes in the state. This sum is part of the foreign direct investment attracted by Governor Basio II's administration, worth 2.5 billion euros in total. At a news conference penultimate week in his office, O2 disclosed that his government was determined to return the green and clean status of the capital city and, in fact, the entire state to its prime status. Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Emmanuel Obeche, in a statement said the 2.5 billion FDI is a direct demonstration of his manifesto, poised to offer the citizenry a season of sweetness. He said the pacts are part of the first set of private sector investors being attracted to the state. Back here now, John Obot Jr. has successfully set a new record for longest marathon reading allowed by an individual for 145 hours. Obot had just hours earlier beaten the existing record of 124 hours and 15 minutes, which was held by Turkey's formerly Turkey Rezbai Isakov. He had begun the marathon reading, which he dubbed Readmania, on September 12, 2023, with a goal to reading aloud for 145 hours. He achieved his expected milestone of 145 hours today and headed for 150 hours. Speaking with our reporter, his mother said that she was grateful to God for enabling her son to achieve what he set out to achieve. She further stated that her son always has a passion for reading since he was young.
And with God, everything are possible. So I feel very happy because I did not even think that he would do it. Right from youth, John was very brilliant. Reading every time, reading all the pieces of papers that he will read. So, in short, when he was from primary 6, he was my secretary. If I want to do something, I will ask John, John, come and read this thing for me. Come and write this thing for me. And he will do it perfectly.
I'm so happy to witness this. It's a very good thing for the state, for the youth of Akwa Ibom State. You know, before now, a lot of youth were not heard. But it's a beautiful thing, like Hilda that set the records before. Akwa Ibom is in the limelight. Now, this is John Obot. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm very sure the governor of the state is very happy, and every other person in the state. I am so happy. I'm proud of my state. I am proud of him. I'm proud of our youth.
In John Obot, you find resilience exemplified, courage showcased. At some points, hope appeared to have dimmed, but he showed exceptional courage and resilience. And today, he has made history. This is a success story not just for the book club, but for humanity. It clearly demonstrates the resilience in the black spirit, the resilience in the Akwa Ibom person. So I'm very happy, I'm very proud, and truly, a current has started. John Obot has started a revolution, and this will catch on. Schools will establish book clubs everywhere. There should be book clubs everywhere. We must read and read and read. The more we read, the more we open our flanks to liberate our people from the shackles of superstition, from backwardness, from stagnation. So we must read and read and read. You've seen the exploits of two Akwa Ibom indigents, Hilda and John, Hilda Bassi and John Obot. These are trailblazers, and their testimonies clearly attest to the Akwa Ibom story in parts.
At the Read Mania were Akwa Ibom State Deputy Governor Akone Yaginyi and other government officials. Moving on now, still to come in the news. Steel rises to 5-month high above CNY 3,825 per ton. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying tuned. We move on now to Africa, where Zambia's former President Edgar Lungu has withdrawn the case in which he called for a judicial review of the government's alleged decision to bar him from traveling abroad on Saturday. Lungu was supposed to have traveled to South Korea for a conference, but shortly before his departure, he was allegedly blocked from leaving because he did not have government clearance. Now, he took the matter to court for a judicial review, but he has now withdrawn the case on the grounds that the court had set 25th September for the hearing, when the conference he was supposed to attend would end on 20th September. Still in Africa, the acting mayor of South Sudan's capital city Juba has been sacked after he was caught on camera apparently slapping a member of the public. Emmanuel Kamis Richard had refused to resign despite mounting pressure from fellow politicians since footage of him appearing to assault the female street vendor went viral a week ago. His dismissal was announced by the governor of Central Equatoria State on Friday evening, than more widely reported over the weekend. Meanwhile, the governor acted after members of parliament had sent him a letter unanimously calling for the mayor's removal. In the meantime, the Congolese government has denied reports about a coup attempt against President Denis Nguesso, who had been in power for 38 years. This is according to Congo's Minister of Information, Thierry Mongala, who tweeted on his X handle, formerly known as Twitter. He reassured the people that the country is calm while calling on them to go about their normal activities. Reports say the 78-year Nguesso has spent 38 years at the helm of the country in Central Africa. He was president from 1979 to 1992, then returned in 1997 after a civil war, and has remained in power ever since. In the meantime, 17 people have reportedly been killed by a landslide in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Reports say the disaster occurred near the banks of the Congo River in the northern city of Ilisala, capital of Mongala province. According to the report, 7 women, 7 men and 3 children under 5 years died and have been buried due to lack of space at the local mortuary. Elsewhere, the island of Djerba off the coast of Tunisia has been added to the UN Cultural Agency's much coveted World Heritage List. Reports say gaining UNESCO recognition often boosts tourism and can make it easier to secure funds for the preservation of cultural sites. Meanwhile, visitors already flock to the picturesque island famed for its whitewashed villages and a yearly pilgrimage to Griba Synagogue. Djerba is believed to be among the first Jewish settlements in Africa. Still in Africa now, Mozambique's police chief, Bernardino Rafael, has denied accusations that officers attempted to assassinate politicians ahead of October's local elections. The mayor of Nampula province, Paulo Vahanle, claimed to have survived an assassination attempt on 22nd August, 2 weeks later. The mayor of Quelimane, Manuel de Araujo, also alleged he was targeted. According to reports, both men are members of Mozambique's main opposition party, the ex-rebel Renamo movement, and both men claim that police agents carried out the attacks. On the foreign scene now, 5 U.S. citizens left Iran and landed in Doha today in a prisoner swap for 5 Iranians held in the United States and the transfer of $6 billion in Iranian funds in a rare deal between the longtime antagonists. It was unclear whether the exchange might bring progress on the many issues that divide the nations, including Iran's nuclear program, its support for regional Shiite militias, the presence of U.S. troops in the Gulf, and U.S. sanctions on Iran. Reports say a plane sent by mediator Qatar flew the 5 U.S. citizens and 2 of their relatives out of Tehran after both sides got confirmation the funds had been transferred to accounts in Doha. Still on the foreign scene, the U.S. military has asked for the public's help to locate one of its F-35 fighter jets after the pilot ejected from the aircraft. The military said it went missing when the pilot was flying over the southern state of South Carolina. The pilot, who has not been named, ejected and parachuted safely. He is reportedly in a stable condition in the hospital. But officials said the aircraft was involved in a mishap, adding that they are focusing their search for the F-35B Lightning II jet around Lake Moultrie and Lake Marion in the northern part of the city of Charleston. Meanwhile, China's top diplomat Wang Yi has begun a visit to Russia to discuss the war in Ukraine with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. In a statement by the Chinese Foreign Ministry, Wang will visit the country from today through September 21. According to the statement, he is expected to meet Lavrov to discuss a wide range of bilateral cooperation issues, which include a detailed exchange of views on issues related to a settlement in Ukraine. The scheduled meeting comes on the heels of a closely watched summit between Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, which the United States has warned could lead to Pyongyang supplying Moscow with munitions for its war in Ukraine. In the meantime, the Italian government, struggling with a surge in arriving migrants, today passed measures to lengthen the time they can be detained and ensure more people who have no legal right to stay are repatriated. The move came after almost 10,000 migrants reached the southern Italian island of Lampedusa last week, dealing a blow to the credibility of right-wing Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, who won office last year, vowing to curb illegal immigration. Meloni said at the start of a cabinet meeting on the situation that migrants awaiting repatriation should be detained for an initial 6 months, extendable to up to 18, up from 3 months now. Still on the foreign scene, Turkish scuba divers searched for 3 firefighters who went missing when their helicopter crashed into a water reservoir near the western resort city of Izmir. Agriculture and Forestry Minister Ibrahim Yamakli said the helicopter crashed while picking up water to douse a forest fire on Saturday night. The helicopter team included 3 Kyrgyz nationals and 1 Turk. One of the Kyrgyz nationals was rescued and rushed to hospital in good condition. Global warming caused by human-caused greenhouse gas emissions is changing weather patterns and contributing to a years-long drought across swathes of Turkey. And now it's time for the latest business and stock market stories. Here is Blyden Ukam.
Thank you, Xavier Roberts. Good evening. It is another business week, and my name is Blyden Okem. In the news, steel rubber futures rose past 3,825 Chinese yuan per ton in September, the highest since April, as new data from China reduced concerns about